Good evening and welcome to Sunday Express. Of course, the ravaging drought situation continues in the country. More than half of the country is in dire need of food. We'll be telling you about the same. And of course, remember this week we'll be focusing on drought in our subsequent bulletins. Obviously, to just look at how different the situation is in different places and how government response is really coming through for those affected by the ongoing drought. We have also news of what has been happening across the country, and of course the call by the president on Kenyans to continue planting trees, 100 each, at least to deal with the problem of climate change. Welcome to Sunday Express. Here are the highlights.
Unaelewa mwenye ile gari alikuwa ni mlevi. Sasa ulevi yake ameangamiza watu wameaga.
It is a Black Sunday as 13 people die in separate accidents in Kiambu and Kajiado counties.
Mnajua saa hizi tuko na deni kiasi kubwa. Na dawa ya deni ni kulipa ushuru.
Pay your taxes if the country is to develop. President Ruto tells Kenyans. And drought worsens malnutrition cases in Malindi. And of course, you can continue looking forward to a comprehensive coverage of a drought situation in the country this coming week. The Kenya Broadcasting Corporation dedicating its time towards that agenda, and that will be coming up on Wednesday and on Thursday. But to remind you also, it's 21 days to the World Cup. And as you know, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is your true partner in sport. And indeed, World Cup Eco KBC, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation Television, will be showing you 28 matches. 18 of those matches are in group stages. And of course, focusing much on the African teams that will be playing in the World Cup. And then all our radio stations will be broadcasting all the 64 matches. And therefore, it's an unrivaled coverage of the World Cup. We also have a team that will be traveling to Qatar to give you a preview and indeed a coverage or an all eyes front coverage on the World Cup. So keep it here at KBC Channel 1. Let's focus on what is making news tonight. 13 people died on Sunday in 7 accidents in Kiambu and Kajiado counties. 6 of them died in 5 accidents that occurred along the Gitaru to Ruaka section of the Western Bypass after a contractor closed one lane of the road. 5 others perished when a tuk-tuk they had boarded was hit by a speeding Toyota Prado. The other 2 died when their vehicle rolled while avoiding to knock an animal along the Namanga Highway.
It was a Black Sunday for families of the bereaved who lost their loved ones. At the Gitaru to Ruaka section along the Western Bypass, 6 people lost their lives. 2 of them were motorists who died when their cars collided. 2 other occupants of the vehicle sustained injuries.
Kama ameweka diversion, anastahili kutumia feeder roads. Atumia feeder roads ndio apunguze hii ajali zinaonekana.
The other 4 people were pedestrians who were each knocked by a car along the stretch as they tried to cross the road.
Hiyo kuta kukiwa na footbridge ambayo ingewekwa kila pahali. Kama pale ukiangalia kwa mbao kukiwekwa footbridge kwa sababu pale watu wengi huwa wanapita.
Residents accuse a Chinese contractor working on a section of the road for closing one lane to enable him put another layer of bitumen, causing confusion for motorists.
Kama sisi viongozi tumejipanga from governor na MP ili tupatane tujue vile tutasaidia watu wetu kwa sababu kuna shida.
At Kamakis along the Eastern Bypass in Ruiru, 5 people lost their lives when the tuk-tuk they had boarded was rammed into by a speeding Toyota Prado.
Prado sasa after kuamshwa, jamaa alikuwa salama, lakini unaona tu amelewa kabisa. Hakuwa yeye ameumia.
Familia imebaki bila breadwinner na the guy was very hardworking indeed. Alikuwa tu ameamka asubuhi mapema kutafutia watoto wake, na yeye kuna mwingine naye alikuwa amelala kukula mali yake, akaamua kuja maliza watu.
An 11-year-old child who was also a passenger in the tuk-tuk was the only survivor. Ruiru Sub-County Police Commander Cecilia Kemboi said the Prado also knocked a matatu before rolling over. And in Kajiado, 2 people died on the spot at Mzee, Mombasa, along Namanga Road, Kajiado County.
Tukasikia mlio wa gari, tukakuta gari ameshaanguka, watu wameanguka hapo chini. Ilikuwa kuna watu 4, 2 kama mmoja amekufa tu hapa.
Shida ni yani hizi wanyama inawekwa kwa barabara, sasa tukianza kuhepa basi ndio hii balaa kama hii.
Police said the other 2 occupants were in critical condition. Kajiado Central Sub-County Police Commander Daudi Lornyokwe cautioned motorists to be more vigilant to avoid the animals. Ruth Wamboi for Sunday Express.
Indeed been a dark Sunday. And of course, forgot to tell you that our sign language interpreter tonight is Byron Abuli. President William Ruto has cautioned Kenyans against evading tax. Speaking at a Thanksgiving church service in Murang'a County, Ruto said stabilizing the economy and reducing the country's debt will not be achieved if Kenyans do not pay taxes. Timothy Kipnus was in Murang'a. Here's that report.
Karuguini Primary School in Murang'a County hosted the 5th Thanksgiving service since President William Ruto rose to power. Ruto thanking them for voting for him.
You have made our country proud. Through this vote on the 9th of August, the people of Kenya, led by the people of Mount Kenya, broke the yoke of ethnicity from our politics.
Area leaders lauded the president for appointing 2 people from the area into his cabinet.
We are thankful that you give us the 2 CSs, and we know that water problems, Madam Alice, will be sorted.
I also wish to thank you because of the CS for Treasury, Juguna Ndongo, Your Excellency.
Threats by Azimio leader Raila Odinga on Saturday that he will mobilize his supporters to refuse to pay tax were not taken lightly.
I want to ask all Kenyans to also ignore those who think they are big people, asking Kenyans and inciting them not to pay taxes because they want your government to fail. I want to invite Kenyans, let us pay our taxes. Tukumbuke mambo yaliyosemwa na mzee Mwai Kibaki, kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea.
President William Ruto cautioned Kenyans who do not contribute to the growth of the economy by paying taxes. Ruto said the country risks sliding to bankruptcy if a section of Kenyans do not pay taxes.
Na hiyo ndio itatusaidia pia tusikwame kwenye madeni. Mnajua saa hizi tuko na deni kiasi kubwa, na dawa ya deni ni kulipa ushuru. Hiyo ndio vile tutamaliza mambo ya madeni.
Ruto also said his government will build mega dams in different parts of the country as one of the measures in mitigating the effects of drought.
Mnajua ya kwamba tuko na hali mbaya sana ya kiangazi. Na hii it will not improve, it will get worse with the time because of climate change unless we do certain things.
Ruto also said that through a program to plant 5 billion trees, several jobless youth will be engaged.
Zile kazi ambazo tulikuwa tunatafuta kama ile kazi ya kazi mtaani, sasa itakuwa kazi ya mazingira. Wale vijana wote tulikuwa tunaajiri kwa kazi mtaani, sasa tutawaajiri wapande miti. Tuhakikishe ya kwamba tuko na miti ya kutosha.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua dismissed claim that Kenya Kwanza government was coercing Raila to join the government.
Hatuna haja na hatugojei wewe, we are not looking for you and we have no time. The last time uliingia serikali ya Uhuru Kenyatta aliharibu wako haribu. Stop saying that people can force you to come to this government. Forget about being forced or coerced. We are not interested because sisi tuko na kazi ya kufanya. Na kazi ya kufanya tumepata rais ambaye ako na maono ya kufanya kazi.
With only 47 days occupying the top seat in the land, the spirit of giving thanksgiving to God for the victory is still boiling in President Ruto's heart, with only 42 counties remaining for the head of state to visit, at the same time seeking divine intervention in his leadership. Timothy Kipnoso for Sunday Express, Murang'a County.
Of course, that story also touches on the issue of drought. And now thousands of Muslim faithful converged in these Ali Muslim grounds here in Nairobi for special prayers for rain as the effects of drought continue to bite across the country. During the prayers, the faithful sought intervention from Allah for favor. Jamia Mosque Nairobi Deputy Imam Jamal Deen Haji also called on Kenyans to help those affected by drought.
The ongoing drought threatens to leave 4.2 million citizens food insecure. On Sunday, thousands of Muslim faithful flocked the Sir Ali Muslim ground in Nairobi to hold special prayers for the rains. The Islamic traditional prayers, referred to as Salat el-Sakar, performed to seek God's intervention during droughts.
Prayer is recommended in Islam, whereby in every aspect of your life, whenever you're facing troubles, there's no way for you to come out of that problem unless God holds your hands.
During the prayer session, the faithful will raise their hands and invoke God for rains and bring to an end the suffering of his people.
Haya mambo Mwenyezi Mungu mara nyingine anataka kusikia sauti ya wahitaji. Tumekusanyika hapa kwa niaba yao na kwa niaba za nafsi zetu kumwomba Mwenyezi Mungu atusame, atuteremshie neema zile ambazo zimekwama.
Sisi tumefunga biashara yetu, tumeacha kazi yetu, tukuje hapa tumuombe na mtulililie na mtunyenyekee kwa Mwenyezi Mungu aliyetuumba atujalie mvua inyeshe.
Speaking after leading the special prayers, Jamia Mosque Nairobi Deputy Imam Jamal Deen Haji called on collective efforts in aid of millions of Kenyans who are suffering.
I'm telling Kenyans in general, let them be their brother's keepers. People are suffering, people lack water, people lack food, children are not able to go to school, their education is affected.
He urged all Kenyans to continue praying to God for rains, saying only the Almighty has the power to redeem Kenyans from the suffering being experienced due to the ongoing droughts.
Benefit a human being and you support them and you feed them and you save them from death, it's like you've saved all humanity. So I specifically urge the Muslims also to stand out and support their brothers, regardless of their background, regardless of their tribe, regardless of their religion, because that is the teaching of the Holy Quran.
A helping hand for those in need would obviously come in handy. Drought has been a thorn in the flesh in Kilifi County, with residents of Dodosa in Ganze now rooting for a lasting solution to the perennial menace. The county is in the list of 23 counties worst hit by the prolonged drought, coupled with high cases of child malnutrition. Our reporter Ruth Wamboi was in Dodosa and filed the following report as Kenya joins the continent in marking Africa Day for Food and Nutrition Security.
At Dodosa Primary School in Ganze, Kilifi County.
Which game does beauty love? Which game does beauty love?
Today, the school is doubling up as a health facility. The county is facing hunger headwinds worsened by the ongoing drought, with agriculture being the worst hit. Residents have to walk for over 8 kilometers to Jila, the nearest health dispensary for treatment.
And usually come here twice a month for the supplementary feeding program for the malnourished children.
They say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Here, even water is a scarce commodity.
Pia ni mbali, maybe watu watoke huko waje wases mahali wako ambao hawezi pata ile pesa ya kila siku wanunue chakula.
We meet parents who have brought their children for assessment of malnutrition.
Kama huyu ashinde hata pata uji ni hilo titi, alafu we mzazi tayari hukula kitu, halitatoka maziwa. Anashinda na njaa mpaka hata anaweza kulala. Kaenda kwa jirani ndo kamwambia kama yuko nacho, kamwambia nisaidie.
With Dodosa area of Kilifi currently having the highest number of malnourished children, according to the IPC Food Security and Nutrition report of October 2022, I am keen to know the root cause of the problem from a mother of 3, Ali Shida.
Hali ya maisha ni ngumu, manake hata kuna shida ya maji, chakula, watu walikata makaa, miti ikamalizika. Mimi niliona heri niolewe mapema kwa sababu niliona hali ya kimaisha ni ngumu, nikaona heri ni ache yale masomo ya kule mbele. Janenda kakule kwenye vinywaji huu, sijui ni mgoka huu. Anatoka kabisa na pesa, anasema naenda nunua chakula, alafu awe ni basi ameenda kabisa. Nasubiri paka uchoke, hata ukimuuliza anasema wewe acha kunipigia makelele, utajua wenyewe na hao watoto wako. Na ni watoto wenu nyote.
Shida says the situation has been so dire, with water points being 15 to 20 kilometers away and most of them having dried.
Kama bawa hivi, alafu yakikauka ndo watu huwa wanachimba yale, tunachimba vile visima na kuchukua hayo maji, na hayawezi nini, manake yana chumvi nyingi.
I noticed these women who have just brought in their young ones. The question is, where are the fathers? But there's this man accompanying his wife.
Baba wa watoto 5, pata huu kame, mifugo yote ikaenda yote kabisa na ikakufa. Mpaka sasa tumebaki ni kama hatuna kitu. Tumebaki ni kuhangaika tu, upate makaa, upate chakula. Mpaka sasa watoto kusoma ni shida. Manake ataenda shule afukuzwe kwa sababu ya fees. Sasa kwa kweli nimepata elimu kwamba ni heri uzae kimpango, sio jizalie tu.
But how do they cope with such challenges?
Under these, we are looking at the 3 sectors currently. But remember, this project, this is the phase 2 of this project. We had phase 1, which is ending in October, but phase 2 has kicked. But under phase 2, we are majorly looking at the response activities geared toward at least alleviating suffering to the community. So under these, we are looking at nutrition sector and health sector. We are looking at wash sector, and then we are looking at the food aid sector.
As the sun goes down, marking the end of the day, we can only hope that the diary of a Dodosa woman will exalt someday after President William Ruto reiterated his commitment to boosting agriculture during this year's Mashujaa Day. With the drought situation continuing to worsen in this vast county of Kilifi, Mihirini residents can only hope that the situation will improve sooner than later for them to get water for irrigation and for human consumption. Reporting for Prime Edition from Mihirini, Ganze, Kilifi County, I'm Ruth Wambui.
All right, that story by Ruth Wambui takes us to a very fast break on Sunday Express. But of course, indeed, a reminder that, of course, as Kenyans continue to struggle, some them affected by the drought situation, it behooves us that have to help them out in this situation. Let's take a breather when we come back with more news lined up for you.
Kupata Zaburi 18 mstari wa pili, dial star 811 star 817 hash. Mwenyezi Mungu ni mwamba wangu, ngome yangu na mkombozi wangu. Mungu wangu, mwamba wangu ninayemkimbilia ninapohitaji kuwa salama. Zaburi 18 mstari wa pili. Zaburi 18 mstari wa pili, dial star 811 star 817 hash. Star 811 star 817 hash.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
The world's biggest sporting event is here with us. The FIFA World Cup 2022 in Qatar. KBC Television will air live 28 selected matches, while radio will beam live all the 64 matches. We would like to bring to the attention of the public that KBC is the only station that has exclusive 2022 FIFA World Cup free-to-air FTA broadcast rights for both TV and radio in the Kenya territory, and no other media outlet. Therefore, catch all the FIFA World Cup action live and exclusive on KBC TV and radio. KBC is indeed your true sports partner.
Welcome back. You're watching Sunday Express. During the vetting of Musalia Mudavadi as the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Suna East Member of Parliament Janet Mohammed raised a query on the significance of the location of his new office and what it would portend for his stature. Though the Prime CS was categorical that he had no problem occupying the office as it would allow him to interact with Kenyans easily, little is known about the significance of the Kenya Railways headquarters along Haile Selassie Avenue and why government saw it fit to allocate the office to Kenya's seemingly third most powerful man in the executive. Built in 1929, the then East African Railways House was the epicenter of all rail operations within East Africa. It also served as the office of a general manager of East African Railways, superbly fit with huge boardrooms and dining area. In fact, the building was built to accommodate visiting royalties of a British monarch.
If the Queen came to Kenya, I've even been told, you will find the boardroom, how it was structured, and next to the boardroom there used to be a dining hall. And next to the dining hall used to be the kitchen. And the Queen used to have her meals in that very building.
Largely seen as a beacon of power, the design and model similar to that of State House, Nairobi.
It's a very important building historically, and you can also say, I do know that the building has now become a national monument of sorts, having been it's a protected heritage site.
In the absence of a governor, regarded as the administrator of a protectorate of Kenya, the railways headquarters would become the new center of power, as the general manager of East African Railways would become the acting governor.
If you look at it, the design of the railway headquarters is the same that you find at State House, which was then the Government House. And it has been there for a long time.
Now the Kenya Railways headquarters will play host to its new occupant, the third most powerful man in the executive arm of government, the Prime Cabinet Secretary. From the office situated in what one would term as the Hustlers' headquarters, the Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi will assist the President and the Deputy President in the coordination and supervision of government ministries and state departments oversee implementation of national government policies, programs and projects in liaison with the Interior Ministry, chair and coordinate the national government legislative agenda across all ministries, among other responsibilities.
My prayers are that you find me suitable to work with you and to work with other Kenyans.
During his vetting for the position, Suna East MP Junet Mohammed queried about the location of the office.
On the issue of the Kenya Railways, I am happy, very happy about the Kenya Railways as a location for this office. First of all, the people who voted us in are there, alighting every morning to go to work and alighting every evening to go home. To me, I say that that is a constant reminder that whenever I go to that office, I will know that those are hard workers in our country, and therefore we must not let them down. We must work hard and improve on this country.
Since the office is right at the center of a melee witnessed at the railway's bus station, how significant is the allocation of the office to the Prime CS?
That is a place that you'll be able to see how the environment can be preserved by looking at the gardens that are in that building. It's next to the railway station where you have public going through, and it was also next to the museum of the Kenya Railways.
Definitely symbolic, and becomes a constant reminder for Musalia Mudavadi to serve diligently and work towards improving the lives of ordinary Kenyans. That's the office of a Prime Cabinet Secretary. Parents whose minors are living with cerebral palsy have called on the government to address the high cost of drugs used to deal with the condition. They also identified lack of occupational therapists, stigma and lack of special schools for the minors as some of the major challenges that such families were facing.
October 9 is marked worldwide as the Cerebral Palsy Day to urge people to come together to celebrate and support those living with a permanent disability that affects movement. It is caused by abnormal development of the brain or damage to the developing brain that affects a child's ability to control his or her muscles. During a sensitization walk on cerebral palsy held in Naivasha town, stakeholders lamented the stigma associated with the condition has led to many minors secluded from the society.
Umepata huyu mtoto na jamii hata hiyo imekataa kuaccept na huyu mtoto, unapata even a husband anakutenga, jamii yenyewe, my neighbors, so tunapitia a lot of challenges na tunafanya hii work to create awareness mpaka huku nje tufahamishe kuwa watoto tuko nao. Ni watoto tuliwazaa kama wale wengine, tuliwabeba miezi 9 kama wale wengine.
Beatrice Mwangi, who is the chairperson of Naivasha Cerebral Palsy Group, has a minor suffering from the condition. She says the drugs for cerebral palsy are no longer affordable.
Hiyo madawa tukiweza kupunguziwa, juu wengine unajipata ni wewe mama na ni wewe baba. Sasa hata kumove, ukimove utajipata kwa ward. Either mtoto aliconverse akajiumiza ama akaanguka, umemfugia. So kama tunaweza punguziwa mahitaji yao, tunaweza kufurahia sana.
Lucy Wangari, whose 11-year-old son suffers from cerebral palsy, said that acquiring diapers and a special diet was a major challenge for tens of families.
Unatafuta kibarua, unakosa kibarua. Hata mwenye labda tuseme umepata kibarua, huwezi enda na ule mtoto. Diapers unahitaji diapers, mtoto anahitaji diapers. Saa zingine mnamfunga mavitabara, diapers hamna chakula yenyewe. Huyu mtoto anahitaji special diet. Huwezi mpea githeri yenye mama amekuja na githeri amekuletea githeri, nyinyi mtakula nyinyi wengine, lakini mtoto anahitaji special diet.
The nursing officer at Naivasha Sub-County Hospital, Dr. Benjamin Moura, said that 70% of minors attending their occupational therapy department suffered from cerebral palsy. The few trained occupational therapists can hardly cope with this huge number of patients.
In a day, they manage around 200 or more cases, and out of those cases, 60% of those cases, 60 to 70% are cases of cerebral palsy. So you see most of their clients are children or people with the cerebral palsy.
Joseph Kairu, an occupational therapist in the hospital, admitted the staff shortage was affecting their performance.
Tumekuwa tukiona watoto lakini hatuoni venye inastahili kwa sababu we are few. Kwa sasa niko peke yangu na hawa ni watoto wanafaa. Tuko na large number of cerebral palsy children. Like tuko na around 300 lakini ile namba tuna afford kuona kwa sasa ni kidogo kama 100.
Madaktari tuko na wachache. Huwa tunapata ripoti kutoka kwa daktari ya kuwa hao watoto wanafaa waonekane mara 3 kama ni mazoezi, lakini unapata anaonekana mara 1 kwa mwezi kwa sababu ya uhaba wa madaktari.
Blood donation as a voluntary procedure has been used over the years to save lives. It turns out that donating blood does not just benefit recipients, there are health benefits for donors too. Apart from the psychological satisfaction that one gets when donating blood, do Kenyans really know the other benefits they get? Pauline Nasimiu sheds more light on the benefits of a blood donor.
Blood donation has been associated with different slogans over the years. Quotes like "Save a life, donate blood," "Save a life, give blood," and donating blood gives us a chance to save a life. This year, during the World Blood Donor Day, the slogan was "Donating blood is an act of solidarity. Join the effort and save lives." All these aim at drawing people's attention to the role that voluntary blood donations play in saving lives and enhancing solidarity within communities. And just like a familiar chorus song, Kenyans do understand the need of donating blood.
I came here today because I feel someone out there needs my blood, and I have enough to share. I feel it's okay to give.
I feel there's a need to make an impact in other people's life, and one of the ways of making an impact in other people's life is by donating blood. That means the blood you donate can go and save a life somewhere.
I personally love donating blood because I believe it's helping someone else, and doing good by others means doing good by God.
However, are they aware of the health benefits they get when donating blood?
I usually just come to give. I don't think of myself while doing it.
I guess the satisfaction that comes with the fact, with the knowing that my blood can help somebody somewhere.
Probably if there are, you can tell me.
Majority of Kenyans do not understand the benefits they themselves get when they donate blood. Most of them know that it's all about helping another person. But this is not just about helping another person. This is also about you. Tokens of refreshments and reimbursement are not the only benefits one gets for donating blood. There are health benefits too for the donor, as Dr. Esther Akinyi explains.
Blood donation can also be therapeutic, meaning that it can be treatment for some conditions. There are some people who have conditions such as, it's known as hemochromatosis, where they have excess iron in the body. When you donate, then the excess iron is able to be offloaded, and now you have normal iron stores.
Even though you may seem healthy, going about your daily routine with ease, there may be diseases developing in you without your knowledge. Such diseases can be detected through free health screening that a blood donor gets.
Before donation, there's always some questions that people are asked. There are some vital signs that are taken. There is weight that is taken. Your blood pressure is taken together with your pulse. And also your HB levels can also be taken. When that is done to you, then you are able even to get to know the state of your health. you're able to get to know even some things that you had not discovered about yourself, in terms of maybe probably you have a blood pressure that is now developing, and that way you can be able to seek medical attention early.
Donation of blood before surgery for one's use can be beneficial to a donor when they are facing a life-threatening situation.
There is something known as autologous blood donation, and this is where the person themselves donate their own blood a few weeks before probably a scheduled surgery, so that during that surgery, when they require that blood or any other situation where they require that blood, then it can be added to them. So you see, this becomes a benefit to that person. Yes, they donated it earlier on, but when they're in that situation that is life-threatening, that they require blood, they can be able to get their own blood. So it reduces the risk of any blood-borne infections that can be got from any other donated blood.
So now you know donating blood not only helps the recipient by saving their lives, but also has several health benefits for the donor. Pauline Nasimiu for Channel 1 News, Nairobi.
The global push for clean energy has spurred innovations that are environmentally friendly to mitigate the adverse effects of climate change. One of the latest inventions in the Kenyan market is electric buses for public transport. Investors in the sector say the devices are cheaper to run and maintain than the ones that run on fuel.
The e-mobility scene in the country has been a buzz as stakeholders not only embrace the demand for environment-friendly vehicles, but also yearn to tap into the economic benefits that come with it. At an inaugural e-mobility exhibition to mark the culmination of the Africa E-Mobility Week held in Nairobi, an array of electric devices such as bicycles, motorcycles, cars, vans and buses were on display. Moses Nderito from Basigo, who are among pioneers of the electric matatus in Nairobi, tells us the relatively low maintenance costs has seen a growing demand for the buses, with many investors opting to go the electric way.
The bus operator does what we call a pay-as-you-drive subscription, and they pay us 20 shillings plus VAT for every kilometer. And that becomes, and what we do that for that, we charge the bus, we maintain the bus, we train his drivers and everything pertaining to the bus. So there's no technology risk, or if the bus breaks down, that is on Basigo, not on the owner.
The bus, which currently retails at 5.8 million Kenya shillings, features a 110 kilowatt battery with a single full charge able to cover an average of 270 kilometers.
So for this bus, for the period we've been running them, over 50,000 kilometers, the only thing we have done is basically normal service. Even brakes we've not had to change.
The market is responding positively to such innovations.
Guys are tired of high fuel prices, a lot of maintenance breakdowns. There are very few movable parts in the tuk-tuks. We are bringing in more units on demand, because the market is still getting accustomed to the electric units. We bring them on demand, so we have at least 20 to 50 orders in the pipeline.
And I'm a big fan of going green. It was really such a pleasure to be in an electric vehicle. So I would definitely put my money on it. I would pay a shilling extra for the comfort and the reliability, and also the fact that I'm doing better by the environment.
Trevor Ngendo for Sunday Express.
The urban areas like Nairobi.
Now, how is the relationship between residents of Kismayo in Somalia and security troops seconded there by different African countries to ensure full implementation of the Somali transition plan by December 2024? In this third and final part of ATMIS, the final push, our reporter Yusuf Farah visited an area manned by troops drawn from Kenya under the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, where he spoke to residents. Here now is a report he filed from Kismayo.
Kismayo, Somalia. We learned that Sector 6 headquarters, a military base shared and manned by the Kenya and Ethiopian troops. Here we'll link up with Sector 2 Deputy Sector Commander Joel Mayo, who shares that apart from the military functions performed by the ATMIS forces here, Kenya Defence Forces has been able to do training and equip the local population here with skills that have enabled them to gain the trust of the locals.
Our activities are also geared to employing the soft power to ensure that we support that local population by giving limited civil military assistance in terms of drugs, in terms of food. Same to women who require assistance during birth. We've been able also to assist through our medic. They've done a very good job.
The public confidence in the KDF soldiers here has been a major boost to the joint operations by the forces in getting to the enemies and weakening them in their strongholds. Any commander sending his team knows the risk involved, and sometimes our men and women in uniform go out and pay the ultimate price in the line of duty, which always leaves a void. Mayo, however, says the training his officers have received ensures that they stay on the ready to tackle the enemy.
We have counselors, we have those guys who are trained to ensure that the psychological support is there, the counseling is there. So it is part of our job, you know. This job, you must be expect some risks. So we have that kind of support, and I think we have been able to manage it well.
His sentiments echoed by 2nd Mechanized Infantry Battalion Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Kasaine, who says the soldiers here are committed to the transition plan and the team is always alert in the event of a security incident.
When the local population is tired of Al-Shabaab, then that is a very good pointer towards better things to come. And I believe perhaps even before 2024, we may see a very different, we may see a lot of reduction in terms of Al-Shabaab threat within Somalia.
We then embark on a patrol with the KDF soldiers. Our destination, Kismayo town.
We're standing right outside this building in Pretoria Street, Kismayo in Somalia, where a fire incident occurred on the 4th of this month, and without the intervention of the KDF, this fire would have spread further to adjacent buildings and the losses would have been worse.
The businessmen and women here, the Somali security forces and the residents appreciate the presence of the KDF forces.
He thanks twice and thrice again. And also you came at night and support the community of Jubaland, Kismayo especially. These people who lost their property, if could not ATMIS or UN support we got, this whole building could be banned and they could be fall down. She said it was successful for a long time after she got support from ATMIS and Jubaland community. If it is not KDF and we could not give it support, my friend, people will lose their millions of money will lost. And Somali, they don't take money to bank. There is big safe in the building.
At the side Mohammed Abdullah Hassan International Airport, KDF has begun construction of the incoming traffic checkpoint that it plans to move from the initial location for security purposes.
Our role here is to support the UNIMAS to disrupt the smuggling in of explosive devices on the vehicles and in the airport.
ATMIS forces are capacity building the capabilities of the local government forces in this area for the subsequent handover of the security operations of this airport at a later time.
Not far from here, we get a front row seat as Somali security forces witness a safely detonation of an explosive thanks to joint training with KDF and the United Nations Mine Action Service. The trainees here are appreciative of the training and believe that one day they too will be able to conduct such operations independently.
There was a lot of threats of IEDs and we have done and demolished those IEDs. We have done joint operation with the KDF.
We have been trained with ATMIS
UNIMAS team as our trainer. They have equipped us with so many skills on matters concerning explosive materials.
Injured locals also get to enjoy treatment at this hospital run by the KDF as well.
The one on the far end, unfortunately, was involved in a gunshot battle, got sustained gunshot wound onto the leg, that is the right leg on the calf. So we've been able to do some surgical interventions for him, and he's still continuing on treatment.
ATMIS hopes to be done with its operations and handover of security operations by the scheduled exit time of December 2024. The management, however, admits some challenges.
And we have not, despite numerous efforts by the African Union, by the United Nations as well, we have not been able to secure additional sources of funding from other partners, despite our efforts. So I think the partners have, the EU and the UK, have sort of reached a point where donor fatigue has set in, and they have made it known that they cannot continue with, to be the sole financer for the mission.
The capacity, as we speak, it is still low in terms of weaponry that can support huge operations.
Despite the challenges, ATMIS looks forward to continue supporting the Somali transition plan to its full completion.
The Africa Union Transition Mission in Somalia is confident that by the time they hand over security operations to the Somali security forces, they will be properly equipped and well trained to be able to run their security operations independently. Yusufar reporting for KBC Channel 1 from Kismayo, Somalia.
Conclusion of a three-part series there done by Yusufar. My only worry is how he fit into that bulletproof. But story for another day. Susan Wanjiru is seeking financial assistance to undergo a stem cell transplant for the retina to restore her eyesight. Wanjiru was diagnosed with a severe retinal damage, and she was referred to Cincinnati Eye Institute in the USA for treatment. The procedure will be done at a cost of 5 million shillings.
The most common causes of retina damage are those related to old age, light damage, or trauma. Retinal disorders can damage vital tissues, hence affecting the eye vision and eventually leading to blindness. Efforts by Susan Wanjiru to seek treatment in various medical facilities and even undergo one surgery in hopes of rectifying the retina have been futile. A stem cell transplant is now her only option. Susan's diminishing eyesight has led to numerous challenges, which include being unable to serve people at her place of work.
Sina uwezo wa kuona kikamilifu. Huwa ninaona tu ni kama moshi iko mbele yangu, na jambo hilo limenitatiza na limefanya sina uwezo wa kufanya kazi yangu. Wakati mambo mengi lazima nisaidiwe.
Anakuanga na hand time sana, juu haonangi, na alikuwa anasaidia watu juu kazi yake ilikuwa ya kusaidia watu.
Her husband also left her, and she has also fallen victim to conmen who pretend they would help her.
Nikawa ninasumbuka peke yangu. Hapo ndio hata kazi yangu ya ofisi nikaanza kuathiriwa.
The stem cell transplant is estimated to cost 5 million shillings, which Susan says she's unable to raise.
So ndio maana na wahisi wa Kenya wenzangu waweze kunichangia angalau ili niweze kuregesha uwezo wangu wa kuona tena, niweze niendelee kuwa na manufaa kwa wananchi na kwa serikali ya Kenya.
Hata kazi yake kujifanyia pia ni ngumu, haezi toka hata nje. Kutoka nje ni kumsaidia ndo atoke nje. Sasa ndo tunaomba tunaweza pata tu watu wa kumsaidia ndo arudi kwa kazi yake.
She's now calling on well-wishers to come to her aid. To support Wanjiro, you can send your contribution through M-Pesa number 0717 406 363. Name Susan Mwangi, or equity account 519 601 016 183 4132. Account name Susan Mwangi.
Kakamega mpo. Stesheni uipendayo Ingo FM inakuletea road show ya mwaka katika kaunti ya Kakamega, Ijumaa tarehe 4 na Jumamosi tarehe 5 Novemba. Tarehe 4 Ijumaa tunazuru Mumias, Matungu, Shianda, Navaholo, Malava, kambi ya Mwanza, Lurambi, na tarehe 5 Jumamosi tukutane pale Kakamega, Hayega, Malinya, Bukura, Huisero, Mulwanda, Sabatia, Ekero na Mumias Town. Kutakuwa na vichekesho na burdan dosha. Pia utakutana na kikosi kizima cha watangazaji na waenzi wa Ingo FM. Usikose.
Radio Ingo, inginingini ya Mwitala.
Kakamega na yefu bwana.
Let's focus on sports now. And former Roma marathon champion Elias Chelimo and Sheila Chepkoech won the 2022 edition of the Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon. Chelimo clocked 2 hours, 10 minutes and 22 seconds to win the men's, while Sheila Chepkoech clocked 2 hours, 27 minutes and 4 seconds to win the women's title.
Elias Chelimo, who finished 8th last year, was in the leading pack from the start before dropping Wilfred Kiro just 5 kilometers to win the men's 42-kilometer race in 2 hours, 10 minutes and 22 seconds.
Nimeshinda na pia ninashukuru Mola kwa sababu kunipea nguvu ya kuweza kumaliza nambari ya kwanza. Nimekaa sana, nimekuwa the whole 2019, 2020 mpaka leo ndio naona mbio sasa ndio nimeanza.
Kiro finished second in 2 hours, 10 minutes and 50 seconds ahead of Felix Kangogo, who settled for the third position at 2 hours, 11 minutes and 8 seconds.
Resha leo iko mbaya, kosi ni mzuri. Weather na ilikuwa mzuri.
Sheila Chepkoech clocked 2 hours, 27 minutes and 4 seconds to win the women's title ahead of Beatrice Chepto, who settled for silver in 2 hours, 28 minutes and 42 seconds, with Shailene Toretich claiming bronze after stopping the clock in 2 hours, 29 minutes and 36 seconds.
Chukua uongozi nikiwa kilomita 20 kilometers na nikaenda kabisa. Ilikuwa ninajitayarisha mzuri from mwezi wa 4.
Daniel Ebenyosimi won the 21-kilometer race in 1 hour and 50 seconds. Isaiah Lasoi and Samuel Naibei finished second and third, respectively.
Running half marathon I'm preparing for Budapest, 10,000 and 5,000, and I know I will make it.
The women's half marathon title went to Evelyn Churchill. Nelly Jepto and Edith Chemjor finished second and third, respectively. Meanwhile, Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba, who graced the event, has called for more concerted efforts in fighting against doping in Kenya, which is threatening to tarnish the country's image internationally.
I wish it known that each of the winner is not getting any hard cash until after their doping test results come out.
Over 20,000 runners took part in this year's event, which started and ended at the Uhuru Gardens here in Nairobi. Nora Mwangi for Sunday Express.
The inaugural Kenya T20 Premier League is set to be held between the 6th and the 23rd of February 2023 at the Nairobi Gymkhana. The championship, which was launched on Sunday by Cricket Kenya, is expected to attract over 30 international players featuring 6 franchise teams.
The Kenya T20 League will consist of 6 franchise teams which will be composed of players drawn from Kenya and abroad. High-profile players who have featured for their countries at global cricket competitions, including at the World Cup, are expected to feature in the competition, which the organisers termed as a step in rebuilding cricket in Kenya.
It marks a journey that shall clear the path for our players to excel. With the league expected to have international caliber players involved, our local talent can benefit immensely on that platform.
And it is also a good opportunity for the local players to up their game, to up their skills as they play alongside the best in the world. This ties down very well with our goal in the sports sector, that we want the players to be exposed to get the best and at the end of it make a living out of the sport.
The teams will face off in a round-robin format with top 4 sides advancing to the semi-finals, where the ultimate winner in the final is expected to bag 1 million shillings in prize money.
In conjunction with the Cricket Kenya, we are laying a platform for the players to rise to the stage of showcasing their talent and potential to the world. These matches will be telecasted live on different platforms throughout the world on the screens.
The organisers committed to holding the tournament, which will see a total of 33 matches being played according to the International Cricket Council ICC rules and T20 format. Bernard Okumu, the Sports at 9.
Equity Hawks produced a dominant display to beat Eldoret 78-24 in a one-sided Kenya Basketball Federation Women Premier League match played at Nyayo Gymnasium in Nairobi. Equity, which has one game before wrapping up the first leg fixtures, has amassed a total of 18 points from 10 games. Our debutant Eldoret has managed 13 points from a similar number of games. The league is expected to enter the second leg on the 5th of November. Atletico Madrid striker Alvaro Morata risks missing the 2022 FIFA World Cup finals after he was injured when they were beaten 3-2 by Cadiz in the Spanish league. Meanwhile, Real Madrid winger Eden Hazard is hopeful Belgium will get to a better position in this year's World Cup finals after they were beaten by France in the semis of a 2018 edition. The 2022 FIFA World Cup finals will be televised live on KBC Channel 1 and on KBC radio stations beginning on the 20th of November to the 18th of December. 2022 World Cup, Eco KBC.
Only 10 minutes and the club has not yet confirmed how long he will stay out. In other news, the USA soccer team is sweating on the fitness of their goalkeeper, Matt Turner, who has a groin injury. The Arsenal stopper missed Thursday's Europa League clash with PSV Eindhoven, but he is expected to be fit before the global event starts next month. Real Madrid winger Eden Hazard is hopeful that Belgium will get to a better position in this year's World Cup after they were beaten by France in the semis of the 2018 edition. The team boasts of stars such as Manchester City's Kevin De Bruyne, Inter Milan's Romelu Lukaku, and Leicester midfielder Yuri Tielemans. The 2022 FIFA World Cup finals will be televised live on KBC Channel 1 and on KBC radio stations beginning on the 20th of November to the 18th of December 2022. World Cup, Eco KBC.
Arsenal was on a rampage today because its substitute Reece Nelson scored a brace as the Gunners thrashed Nottingham Forest 5-0 to get back to the top of the English Premier League standings. Mikel Arteta's side have now won 10 league games out of the 12 that they have played this season.
start for Arsenal. Gabriel Martinelli.